Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and here we have all the versions of the Bestech Bandit. And I'm going to link this down in the description for you guys. So if you guys do want to get one, you can click the link and choose which one you want. I'll have an Amazon link and a KAVISO link down there. Now, the KAVISO is drop now. Remember, drop used to be drop, so it's KAVISO now. KAVISO, formerly known as drop. So we have all the different colors here, and we have three different versions of micarta. We have the black and the green, obviously the brown, and then we have two different colors of G10. Now the G10, you'll notice it has a little bit of a pattern on it. And then we have the Jade G10, which, you could dye whatever color you want, if you chose that one. That's the beauty of a Jade G10 is you can do what you want with it if you ret dye it. Now, I've noticed that they're pretty consistent between them all. I do notice there's a little variation in detent strength. They're all good, though. None of them are bad. I would say out of these specific ones, the Jade G10 has the lightest detent, but it's still very, very reliable. But all of them are still really, really good. So I'm just telling you that because I know, between different models, sometimes you'll get a little bit of variation. They're all really good. Now, let me move these out of the way, and we will check one of them out. We'll check this one out, the brown micarta. Now, oh yeah, if you've seen the different colors in the green one, that's just the oil that came out of the pivot. And they have two different forms of deployment. We have the flipper tab, obviously. Man, really good detents, though. And then the reverse flicking hole. Now, the reverse flicking hole is a little tight. You can get it, though. You can get it. Not thumb flick it. I cannot thumb flick this at all. Not whatsoever. But I can reverse flick it. Like I said, it's tight, though. N690 Tonto blade. It does have the secondary tip right there. Not too acute, but it does have one, and you can definitely use it. It does have a kind of a stout stock, but it does get down to a nice thin edge. So you shouldn't worry about breaking the tip or anything like that. It should be fairly tough while also being slicey. The ergos on the handle are pretty good. It's not a large knife, though, so I don't expect it to be phenomenal. But I like that I have the ability right here to choke up, because this is the most comfortable position, in my opinion. It is a steel liner lock. All of them have a solid lockup. I have checked every single one of them. Deep carry clip that does go into or go underneath the scale in between the liner. It's not reversible, though, but it does have, you can see the screw right there, so it's nicely set in there. There's not much shift at all or anything like that. Nice tension. And the access to the lock bar is really good. It does give you plenty of access. You can see how this side of the scale is actually a little bit more proud than this side. So very easy to disengage. Super smooth on the drop. Not fall shut, but it is very drop shutty. All of them are. So all of them are very, very smooth on the drop. And like I said, man, this detent for the flipper tab is really, really well tuned. Now, it is a budget knife and very affordable. N690 stonewashed blade. And, that's the steel N690. It's really stainless. It's a decent steel. It's not a high-end steel by no means, but it sits. If I was going to compare it with other steels, I would, put it right around VG10, somewhat in the 9CR area, under 154 cm, but right there, in that area. So good quality steel, and for the price point, it's not bad. Now, if I was going to complain about anything really quick right off the bat without, carrying it, using it, or anything like that, which I don't like to do on first impressions because that's all this is, T6s. I don't like T6s. That's probably my main thing. The micarta quality is okay. It's decent. It's not the best micarta, but it's also not priced for the best micarta, but it's okay. Let me pull up all three. You know, I can still see the pattern inside of it, which I do like to see. It doesn't look blotchy or anything like that, but it's not premium micarta, which that's okay. I don't expect premium micarta for this price. You know, there's a couple companies out there that are able to do it, but that is something I would like to see, you know, in the future. Bestech, you know, possibly start looking at a little bit more. I know they have the ability, so. Now, let me zoom this out. The next thing, like, you know, and I'm not making huge complaints here. I'm just nitpicking, but the choil, you know, it's okay. Like I said, this is a little budget knife, and I do like the ability to choke up right here. But you know, the plunge grind is very close to the edge. Is it that big of a deal? Maybe not. You know, it just depends on you, because some people might like the repeat cuts. What do I mean by that? So when you don't have a choil right there and you have a ramped area right here into the edge, you have the ability to go right into your cut without even thinking about it. And like, say if you're going to do repeat cuts, like say you're cutting cardboard or something, the stuff will go right into the edge, and you'll never have to worry about getting caught into the choil. Now, another way to prevent that, if you do have a choil, is just to block it with your finger. You can just block it with your finger and then use your finger kind of as the ramp to encourage the material into the blade. But, you know, I tend to prefer, usually, not always, you know, there's always, you know, reasons when and when I wouldn't, but usually I prefer a plunge grind away from the edge. Now, I do kind of like this, and not that I like it, but, you know, a lot of times when you see a tanto, the tantos are straight right here. This edge is nice and straight. This one's actually kind of curved. So, you know, that's kind of interesting. It kind of makes it to where this portion right here, it's kind of like using a belly, but it also has a tip. So not a very pronounced tip, but it still has one. So not only can you use it for opening things up, but you'll also still get the benefits of a belly at the same time. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool, you know, because it kind of gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds. Now, the tip, you know, like I said, it's stout, but not so much to where you can't use it. You know, it's just that right thickness where you're not going to really worry about it breaking, but you're also not unable to use it. Lockup, rock solid on all of them. Like I said, I already checked that. The hardware seems, it looks like it's okay quality. I haven't taken it apart or anything. In the inside, we do have milling. So the weight relieving, these are very light. They're small knives. Sometimes I think it's irrelevant to even talk about weight relieving in knives like this, especially when we're talking about knives with micarta and that are liner locks already, but this is me and I know everybody's different. So I like to talk about it, but I also know that I don't care. Like, to me, no knife this size could really be too heavy, especially if it's a liner lock in micarta. You know, if I seen a brass scales or something, then yeah, maybe I would talk about it. But, you know, this is a very light knife, and it, you know, being a micarta liner lock, it'd be very difficult to make it heavy. Now, the reverse flick for the left hand, you know, it does kind of suck that they did not put a reversible clip. And I say that because you almost have better access with a lefty. Because like I said, this side of the this side of the scale, the show side, is not as proud as the lock bar side. So if I close it up, you'll see there's a little bit better access to this side of the hole than this side of the hole. So you actually have a really good lefty flicker right here, actually even better than the righty. So I think that would have been really good to possibly integrate This screw, you know, the same thing on this side. They would have had to have just left a little cutout, but they did not. So, but they are all nice and centered, and you know, like I said, they're pretty consistent across the board. Just, you know, a little bit of Domino Rally, a little bit of a detent deal with the G10 ones over the micarta ones. The micarta ones seem like they have a little bit stronger detent than the G10 ones, but not to the extent of which the G10 ones are bad. So they are all running on ceramic caged bearings in the pivots, and they have ceramic detent balls. They have a regular stop pin with a shouldered lockup. And all of them have G10 back spacers, even the micarta ones. I think they're all, no, they're not all black. The G10 ones do match the scales, but the micarta ones have black back spacers. So just something to think about. You can see the pattern here on the G10 one, and the micarta ones are flat. So the G10 ones they're not contoured, but they have a flat section, and then kind of this machining here on the side that kind of makes it taper. So in hand, it does feel a little more contoured than the micarta ones. I do personally like the micarta ones better, but that's just my preference. But just a quick look at these guys. And like I said, everything will be linked down in the description for you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.